West Side things, here on the West Side and abroad, because we might touch on the world a little bit. We might touch on the South Side a little bit. We definitely gonna touch on all of Chicago because we got a lot of things affecting us all around. But anyway, look, there's various ways you can interact with this show. We got Facebook and YouTube and Zoom. If you go on that Zoom, you right in the show. Just come off mute, speak your speech, keep it peaceful though. You know what I mean? No disrespect to be tolerated. We're gonna have to mute you, We're gonna give you a little leeway, man. You got to choke the chain. You feel me? Either way, if you're on that Facebook or you're on that YouTube, if you type, we can see your comment, bring you right into the show. We can dialogue that way.
I can't hear anybody, and the video has stopped.
Me neither.
I wonder what are they doing to it?
I don't know.
Oh, happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I guess we're gonna have to entertain ourselves, right?
I guess. How's your day been going?
Oh, it's been going good, nice and peaceful. Trying to catch up on some house chores.
Okay.
I have to do a little bit at a time.
Yeah, that's what it takes.
Yeah. One room at a time, one step at a time.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, I don't have any video. It was on.
Yeah, they did something. It's something on their end. It's not our end. It's something they doing. They messing with stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if they even know we can't hear
them.
Maybe if I send them a chat.
Yeah, try that.
Okay. I sent it. I don't know if they got it or not.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to give them a call and see if I can get through.
Okay, I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that'll help. All right. See you in a little bit.
Right. In a little bit.
Yep. He said, nah, it's video. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay, we appreciate it. Thanks. All right. I don't know what we gotta go back over. We go back over if need be. Where y'all at? Can you hear me out?
Steve, did you know we couldn't hear or see you for a minute?
Yeah, I know. DeAndre just straightened it out. But what's crazy is now you ain't on the speakers. So what's going on?
Oh, you just gotta make sure you
turn this off, turn it on.
Yeah, turn it off. Turn it
It's
off.
going back. What are y'all doing?
Say something, Ella.
Yeah, I'm wondering what y'all doing. Stop playing with the thing.
Is that better?
Yep, stop investigating it. Just leave it alone.
Okay. I'm like jumping all over the place here, trying to click this thing, click that in. But we in. Did y'all hear what we said about Juneteenth yesterday?
No, we
recap.
didn't hear nothing for the last 10 minutes.
Okay, so what we were saying, we went to a Juneteenth event in Oak Park, right there by the library. I mean, not the library, right there by the Walgreens on Madison, just a block west of there. And it was done by Raheem Young and Royce, this guy. They with the Welcome to Fatherhood guys. They put on every summer they do a Juneteenth stuff, and it's pretty nice. They have free food. They have ice cream truck vendors.
Where was it?
Right on Madison. You know what Robinson's Ribs is?
Where who?
Robinson's Ribs.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Right across the street from there. Right across the street, they do it on that block. And they had a stage with some presenters, and the guy was talking about Juneteenth, what is the need. They had a trolley for the kids. They went up and down the streets, constantly. They had free ice cream, soft serve ice cream truck, free what else they had? Burritos, not burritos, something else. Free game truck. They had a free food truck. Vendors out there. I mean, it's nice, Starts at 11.
I didn't know nothing. I didn't know nothing about it. I hadn't heard.
I thought you mentioned this last week, yeah, because they had $20 raffles. Remember you said $20 raffles, and then the raffle is you win
a steak dinner or something like that, or a
boat trip for a group, group boat trip, and
Okay.
And they feed you and everything, but I don't know who won that.
Steve, how was the Juneteenth event up at Columbus Park?
I didn't make that one. Did you make that one?
Yeah, that was the one. I mean, there was a lot going on. They had a lot of activities. Over at the field house, they had basketball going on and two different courts. Looked like then they had on the outside in the little areas back there, they had a bunch of different things for the kids. Of course, they had the stage set up, and saw a couple kids were up there performing and stuff like that. So it was cool. Superintendent was out there again. They had him out there. He came through, so it was just all right. It was a good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
They only had one site for Juneteenth this year. Last year they had one near Austin.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Tina Augustus
I mean,
Block Club, she does the one on Austin, right? The Adams
Yeah.
Street Block
Oh, yeah.
Club.
Right.
Yeah. But I think she was supporting the one that the NAACP put together. I think.
Well,
I
which
think I
one
see her
did
on the flyer.
the NAACP did? That one?
I believe they did the one at the field house.
Oh, at the field house. Okay.
Yeah. But that was a large one though. That was a
Right,
big
yeah,
one.
because I know Introspect and the
Right,
Columbus
right.
Park Advisory Council.
Right.
They all involved in that that one right there on the Parkway on the Jackson. Well, they used to have a stage right there on the Jackson part on the Parkway. Was that there this year?
No, it wasn't on Jackson this time.
Oh, okay,
It
so
was-
they did it all behind the field house and stuff.
Right. Yeah. There was they had. Speaking of, they had basketball games and they had the baseball games going on too. The West Side Sports League was out there as well. So yeah, it was a lot going on. It was definitely a lot going on.
Okay. So they didn't block the street off no more like they had been doing in the past.
Nah,
on Jackson.
No.
Okay, that's good because I mean, when they would do that, nobody would be out there anyway, so it didn't make sense to be blocking the street off.
Plus, it didn't make sense to have this not collaborated together, you know?
Right, exactly.
If you're gonna do one, at least have everybody come down on your end, or you
Exactly.
go, or because it just divides people up when it's that far apart.
Right.
But nevertheless, there are a lot of events. There was one. Wow, did you go to Douglas Park? Anybody go to Douglas Park Juneteenth? Because I know.
Yeah, I went to 1865 Fest.
Yeah.
Yep.
That one, they had a lot of groups out there.
Yeah. That was a little later. I ended up. I just stayed. When I was there, they were doing a footwork battle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were doing the footwork battle and stuff. So that was cool.
And then Khalid Stewart opened her front porch art center.
Yeah.
On what is that?
Madison, 5800 block of Madison.
What was that?
5815.
Oh, 58. Okay.
Yeah. Went to that.
Okay.
They had a guy dressed up as Buffalo Soldiers playing the guitar
Okay.
and telling the story of Juneteenth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, now that was he's a professor from Columbia College. He's a black guy. His name was George Bailey.
Yeah, he's opening that place out there in Joliet, a Black History Museum.
Oh,
Actually, I wonder. I don't know if it was. I know it was coming up where he's having. The city of Joliet gave him a building out there, and he's refurbishing and making a Black History Museum. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, it was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, because he's been to the Ghana in my festival a couple of times. Yeah, since September.
You know what? I'm trying to remember. Why I know that George Bailey name? That's the guy from the Christmas movie. George Bailey.
Yeah.
Then I think about Bailey from Fat, but his name was George. And then I'm thinking about George Lawson. Because George Lawson that's up too. and he do a like a commemorative reenactment for Juneteenth also. But again, it was quite a bit going on this weekend. I want to say Friday we had the leadership lab, which is out of Oak Park, and being that they were in Oak Park, they changed. Well, they've always been in Oak Park, but they're changing their whole setup to something called community conference. That's the new thing, community conference, and it will no longer be called the leadership lab.
I changed it
because their funding direction has been changed.
Oh,
so they got a whole new funding direction, and that's why they named it that. And they're looking for people to join. And I think they're going to
feel like a fellowship, though, right?
Well, it's definitely fellowship. But they're going to be doing it out of Dominican, I think now. If I'm not mistaken.
So what is it? I remember going to it a long time ago, Steve. But what are they doing exactly?
So it's a fellowship. You know, various people are picked, and it's a cohort where they actually they train. Their focus this time, they said they're going to be teaching people how to do grant writing and accounting when it comes to organizational skills. That's something they're going to focus for this next fellowship. But it's pretty good. You got a lot of people that are out there that are with different organizations and businesses that join. And I mean, the big part or focus of it for me, because I was in the first one, is that you build relationships and networks.
Right,
and,
right.
And then, you know, the village president, Vicky Skaman, she's part of it. She comes in. Rory Hoskins from Forest Park, the mayor, he comes in. Various other people from different entities and political. I think there's a guy that's on the village of trustees from Berwyn. He's part of it. You know, quite a few prominent people, and there's people in general that are in business. The
right,
young
right.
lady that she's got a thing about the hair, where she teaches.
Oh, she was there?
Yeah. She's part of the graduating cohort this year.
Oh, good. Yes. She was with. She's the one that taught the daddy hair day thing that we did with Welcome to Father.
Yeah, she's definitely. She's got the thing where she teaches the white parents how to do black hair, or how to get black hair.
Me and how to do it.
She's got a book. She got a book, right?
She didn't mention.
Yeah, she has a book, which sends me into the next segment, because Congressman Davis called me this week about 7 in the morning, and then I said, hey, what's going on, Congressman? He goes, Steve, what are you doing up so early? I said, well, I'm trying to get the worm. Yeah, I get it. Early bird, right? I said, yeah, but what's going on? He said, oh, I made a mistake and called you. I said, okay. I said, but now I got you on the phone. I want to know, because he had talked to me earlier last year. He said, Steve, we should do a book fair at NAC, because there are so many people that he knows that are authors of books. And I'm like, I know quite a few, not 20 or 30, but I know at least about 10. You know, minimum 10 people probably that have written books, and they probably would love to come and do a signing and sales and give away whatever they do with their books, you know, presentation. And I said, we need to set a date and get this rolling, because we've been talking about it for about a year now. And I told, what's the young lady with the hair? I forgot her name. I got her card. But anyway, I saw her at the fellowship graduation, and she said, oh yeah, make sure you let me know. I got you. I'm plugging in, and we get this. It might not happen till the fall, you know. It's the indoor.
Well, here's the deal. I'm actually releasing the book in October.
There you go.
And it's based off of professional and personal self-development, using all the psychological techniques that I learned along this journey to my doctorate, and really breaking down essentially the will to, the want to, the follow up, the follow through. You know what I mean? And making sure people understand how to get themselves going And I actually asked Congressman Davis to do my foreword, so he's already agreed to do that. So, I mean, you already said the fall,
Right.
so we could kind of do something like that.
That's what I'm thinking, because we're gonna be inside anyway. Set it up like, bunch of little tables for everybody inside, around the room, and what have you.
Yeah, and
go
then,
for
you
it.
know, have some children book authors, you know, maybe make it sectional, you know, like how you have a section for this and a section for that, you know,
Yeah,
like the children's corner, and then you got the, you know, this, you know, whatever, so then people can see, you know, like the different type of authors. Because I know a guy, do y'all know the guy that does the children's book fairs all over the United States? He's from Chicago. He normally
What's his
does
name?
one at Malcolm X every year.
No, I don't, I'm not
I
sure who
can't
that
remember. Daryl, I think his name is Daryl Harvey.
is. Okay. I'm
But
not
he
familiar.
does a big book fair every year at Malcolm X College. I mean, I've been there several times, you know, just having, you know, a table, you know, for the nonprofit. And but he has actually children's authors, Black authors that come from all around the city and actually the United States. And like it's doing I can't remember what month. It might be Black History Month, right? So, and then the schools even bring busloads of kids to the book fair.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
elaborate like that. I got
Yeah,
what, Tiny,
exactly.
you got a book, don't you? You coming out with a book? Tiny. Guess he ain't there. Everybody's different. But I thought he had said he was working on a book in previous time. But again, that's something that we're gonna definitely lock down and try to get that to happen, because we know too many people that need to get the. I don't know if you guys know Howard Southwell. He called me last week and he said, "Steve, I got a bunch of my books." I said, "Hey, we're gonna do a book trip." He said, "Well, let me know, because I'm in." So, hey, the more the merrier. Tiny, I asked a question. Did you have a book out with? Hello. I guess. Tiny? Yeah, Tiny.
What's the difference if you
Never mind. But the other thing I ended up going to was Tiny could probably talk about that also. Shirley Howard had I don't know why I thought it was a birthday party, but it found out it wasn't a birthday party. At her house she had a gathering Friday night. A bunch of people from the neighborhood and peacemakers and other people were there. I guess she called it the beginning of summer, starting of the summer event, I guess.
Yeah, I forgot. I totally forgot about that. She showed me it to me, but Fridays I be having my little one, and I ended up when I pick her up from school, she typically sleeps till about 5:30. I pick her up at 4. So we went to the garden. We stayed there for at least a good 6:30 for an hour while I was reading and all of that. And then we went over to our island oasis down there in the island, and I let her play around for another hour in there. If I had thought about it, I probably would have came on down that way.
Right.
But then we wouldn't have been going in the house till 9 o'clock or something. So.
Yeah, they were out there late. Shirley was out there late. I thought I was gonna see you, Miss Jacobs, down the street.
Oh, let's see. Friday too, they had the Explorer bingo at the park. I'm not at the park, at the police station. Yeah, they were doing, fundraiser for the kids' summer Six Flags trip.
Okay.
And so they had bingo. I think it was from 6 to 8.
How do they do that? How do they do the bingo? They actually raise money.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, basically, they anybody could come, but they had the QR code so you could scan it, to donate, whatever you want, whatever you could. And, but then they had prizes. And, so which, I don't know, they just had all kind of things. Cause actually I bingoed and got a dual coffee maker I had been looking for. I needed it for my new office, so. Anyway,
There you go.
so wait, yeah. So I got it in bingo. Yes. So
There you go.
yeah. Yes,
Now,
indeed.
that purpose made all the purpose and functions work.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So people, they had some good, prizes. I'm assuming they got all the stuff from World Visions. There was prizes or something, and or they were donated stuff. They had a cooler long enough, Steve, to put your body in.
That was what they were raffling it off to.
I mean, well, if you bingoed, you got to pick from the prize table.
Right, gotcha.
That would have been good for this we putting together on Saturday.
What's
Mm.
The right here
Oh,
on the 29th.
29th, yeah,
Right.
yeah. No,
Well, Velda Bruner won her son won the cooler, so you can just go borrow it from her.
No, we got cool. We got them.
Oh,
We good
okay.
with that. We got a ton of them. We got the one that's sitting right up. We got the one on the stand.
Oh,
The
yeah.
metal. Yeah, with the beer popper and everything on it. But Tiny, you there? Because I was asking about your book. I know you had told me you were writing a book. But yeah, so a lot of things went on this weekend. Then of course I had somebody had a repass Saturday. That kind of took up a lot of the day, but hey, those things are happening. Those things are going on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, people passing away, and we got to just get everything in order, I guess, so to say. Something else I wanted to touch. Oh, you guys missed the event last Wednesday with Humana, Dr. Happy. What's the Good and Plenty is the name of the farming?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the group where they're doing these raised planter beds. They're trying to get people healthier by supplying them with these raised cedar wood, stainless steel fasteners, planter beds, with super organic fertilizer. I mean, they planted 3 weeks ago and they claim they got watermelons already. They're not big, but they're little softball sized watermelons. And they got other plants that are already growing and tomatoes and all this and that. But this fertilizer, they claim it takes 6 months to produce this fertilizer. So that being said, they call it super fertilizer, and it's doing something because they got crops like growing already. Ready. I don't know if they're ready to pull. I think a watermelon, if you really want a good watermelon, you gotta let it sit a few months, so it can set. And then one of the guys that was there, he was a farmer, and he said, if you want sweet watermelons, you definitely got to have the ones with the seeds. You take the seeds out and you soak the seeds in honey or sugar, and then you plant those seeds. And when you plant those seeds, you'll have very sweet watermelon. Now, how about And then he said, when you pull in tomatoes or you go to the store for tomatoes, make sure they have a stem on it, because when you pull the stem off, that means that the tomatoes are not as ripe. I mean, that's fresh. So that stem is what keeps them fresh. So not the little flat part, but they say just a little, sticking up off. That really means that it's fresh. And I guess he was saying something about peat, has a better quality of those. But something to look at. Dr. Happy actually talked about prostate issues. He went through the whole gamut on that. What to eat, what it looks like, what it does, what the problems that occur, how medically things are done, and how holistically you can help yourself. And that was on the Zoom that we're on now. And I thought Arnold had told everyone last week because I posted it on the Facebook page, but I didn't send it out because I'm thinking, you know,
Folks were locked in, they was already.
yeah, and the other thing is I didn't get the information till Sunday, and it was happening Wednesday, so I didn't know how, you know, I told Arnold to mention it, then I'm like, I didn't realize he was gonna Zoom it. Maybe that's what and it was Zoom because, you know, there was some good information. Then we had the jazz performer that played the, what's the thing called?
The didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo, which is a pretty ancient Australian Aboriginal instrument. Kind of like a big horn, you know, big. What is it made of? What is it like made out of? Bamboo or
made out of wood. Yeah, people falling wood.
And he played it. He actually played it for us, so it was pretty interesting. An opportunity to hear an ancient form of music from a faraway place down under, as they say. And I wish everybody could have tuned in. I was trying to send out links to say, hey, check this out, because it's on live. But nevertheless, that was Wednesday. What else we had last week that was going on? Something big. Did you guys have something with your council or something?
Man, we brought, with our council, we just had Manny from the mayor's office come out to talk about these plans that they have to target the essentially worst blocks that we have in Austin. Two of them were identified in the 28th Ward, which were around Adam, well, pretty much Madison, Adams, right there, what's that, Lockwood, one block past where the gas station is. Is that Lockwood?
No, that's like Laverne or Leamington, something. Where the gas station is.
Yeah, right where that gas station, in the McDonald's, that
right.
2 blocks over up in there.
Leamington and what have you, what's going on?
2 blocks up in there where they said it's pretty much the worst. And so they're focused attention. There was a little bit of how would I phrase this? Folks were a bit upset because they were feeling like you know, when having the conversations about how these plans were going to be made, because again, it's supposed to be like the people's plan or something in the mayor's office.
Right.
They basically contacted the same group that they typically do, you know, your bills, your ACTs. So folks were like, but we have all of these different organizations that are doing work. Why y'all are not connecting with them? And so he was clearing up that a part of the people's plan that the mayor has revolves around communities that have a quality of life plan in place. And so they were tapping in with the groups that were like spearheaded. And so they was just saying like, there are meetings being held though that anybody can come to really add input. And the guy Manny was saying, especially since he's been there, which he said has been about 5.5 years, he's been under, what he said, I think he said 7 deputy mayors of public safety. Now this is the first time where they turned it and named it community safety, because they want to focus on the various aspects of the safety issues that we're facing. And then he said, not only that, this administration has changed the language around targets. So they no longer say high-risk youth or high-risk adults. They call them high-promise youth and high-promise adults. What else?
Tomato, huh? It's still a vegetable. Well, tomato, fruit. Still a fruit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what the game. But now we're talking about public safety. Let's talk about this. I forgot to mention, Ella, especially for you, and you didn't say anything about this. Last weekend, or the weekend before that, somebody got killed right here down the street, out the window from NAC on the 2800 block of Division. So I don't know if you knew that. I'm going to give you the report 1 second. But one of the things I definitely wanted to bring up was the issue of this shot spotter.
Yeah.
You know, it's a mixed bag of nuts going on with that. I don't hear people saying, "Oh, we need to have a shot spotter. We gotta have a shot spotter." Then others are saying we wasting $10 million a year with the shot spotter because it ain't saved nobody's life yet. So I'm trying to get, you know.
So we're trying to, with the district council, get a convening with folks from CPD as well as ShotSpotter. Thing is, as Ray will put it in our meeting, because this was brought up, the folks from Sound Thinking, which is the company behind ShotSpotter, they said that they don't want to be in the same room as the Chicago police for whatever reason. And that is really preventing us from putting together a forum in which we can hear open debate in both sides of the coin as to why keep it or get rid of it, you know, which is interesting when you think, no, and I think that, you know, and I could be wrong. I do want to say she said sound, the folks from Sound Thinking, but it could also be those that are opponents of the organization that don't want to come in the same room as the police. So I could be misquoted. It's one of the two though.
Right.
And either way, that's really preventing us from really hearing both sides. But essentially what this conversation is made up of is Sound Thinking. The folks that want to get rid of ShotSpotter are saying that Sound Thinking as a company in the different places that it operates has shown to not be good stewards of the information that is contained in it, and it seems to unfairly target Black and brown communities as much as this technology does, because there's this idea that we're the ones that's keeping up the major violent crimes, so it has to be in our communities to keep our communities safer. Statistically, that may be true, but we also recognize that communal violence happens in areas where lower income people live, and so it could. I'm sure that also is in white communities wherever that exists at, but we don't know. But this company again isn't good stewards of the technology. At least that's what the opponents are saying. Okay. And so what the proponents are saying though is at the end of the day, when shots go out, we don't call police because shooting is now our ambiance. We're so conditioned to hearing gunshots that we're just gonna be like, oh, another car alarm, a bird chirping, a cricket, a cicada. You know what I mean? Like it's our background noise. And what they're saying, and so the police to that end are saying, if we're not getting calls from the citizens saying that shots are going off, then we're not necessarily going to be dispatched to that, wherever that incident happened at.
Oh, they're going to dispatch because somebody's going to eventually see somebody laid out,
right?
And they're going to call.
Right, but now, as opposed to ShotSpotter, if 7, 8, 9, 10 shots go off, that seems like it's from an automatic weapon, which they're carrying a lot of switches now. Now the police can see it in rapid fashion, and they can triangulate where it's coming from, and they can dispatch somebody there.
And get there and not catch anybody like they used to.
I mean, and that's part of it. And that's why you got the opponents again saying, at the end of the day, we're using it, but it's not being as effective as it could be.
I've seen somebody fire about 15 rounds. I'm looking at where it's coming from. The cops show up. They come out with flashlights, about 10, 15 of them, just looking on the ground for about 20 minutes. Now, 20 minutes times 10 people, what? You're talking about 200 minutes. Man. You do the math, you got a whole shift that one officer just was paid for just looking on the ground, and they walk away and leave. And I mean, come on now. You throw the rock in over there in the weeds, and they go look in the weeds. That just goes on. We wasting money if this thing ain't been effective in the last 5 years. You got a hand up. Bertha, you got something?
Good evening, you all. Thank you, Steve. I think I have. First off, when they said that these shot spotters don't save lives, you tell me something you can use out in the community that will. That's just the dumbest argument I've ever heard. That's just stupidity. Even defibrillators don't always save lives. But when you have 96 shots and nobody called the police, that's absolutely horrific. And Steve, like you just said, when they come out, they don't see nothing. That's on the police. That has nothing to do with shot spotters. You know, me myself, I'm for them keeping the shot spotters. I'd rather for the police come and look around or something than to not come at all. It's happening too many times where police don't come at all. It's really getting to be sad out here. You're driving down the street, you don't know if it's a gunshot or a shot. But I want the shot spotters to stay. I really do. I'm one for them, and I can't say it enough. I want the shot spotters to stay.
But my disposition with it is it has no follow up, nothing. I would rather have a camera there than the shot spotter. You know what I'm saying? The camera.
But would the camera get the police to come out of come off their block? I don't know. And once the shot spotter goes off, if the police don't come and do what they supposed to do, there lies the problem. There lies the problem. The problem isn't the shot spotter. It's once they get there, like you said, if all they doing is taking a flashlight, looking around, that's on the police. That ain't got nothing to do with the shot spotter. The shot spotter did what it was supposed to do.
Right. Yeah, that's really. So I will say this too. I did go and view the SDSC room, and I got to see what the officers get to see whenever something like that happens. So they showed me what it looks like when a shot spotter goes off, and it goes across the screen. It shows like let's say like a crash mark. So it goes pop, 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 pop. It shows it going across. And then if there is a camera, the camera automatically looks and it zooms towards the incident. And so
that's what we need.
Yeah, so you could, and they kind of showed me video footage of a traffic accident and a shooting and stuff like that. So I was able to kind of get a view of what they can see when that happens. And so it does happen. What I do know is those cameras are more expensive than the shot spotter technology. So it's not everywhere. Shot spotter is in a lot of places though, but the cameras aren't. So that's the interesting part.
The only thing I'm saying, Bert, is also, you know, I got a neighbor. He got a big old German Shepherd dog. And we got this white guy, he likes to break his garage and stuff. So I told him, this dude doing it all the time. Everybody knows. But he came, oh, Steve, my girlfriend's bicycle was stolen down in my gangway behind my fence. And I said, what about your big German Shepherd? He didn't even bark. Well, guess what? That dog don't need to be eaten for a couple of days. If he ain't barking, let that $200 bike get stolen. When that's all the shot spotter is a pointing and barking dog. So if he ain't pointing and barking and finding the person that did it, somebody need to be eliminated, either the police or the shot spotter, or the dog.
Okay, can I say something? I ain't been ready for about 30 minutes. This is Mosaic, the reason of truth. And I love what Ms. Bertha said. I love what she said. Don't get rid of the shot spotters. See, you know, I'm not sure. I don't know if you got any people close to crime in your family, Steve. So you might not understand it like some of us who got family embedded in criminality and things of that nature. The shot spotter does save lives. It's ridiculous for you to say it doesn't save lives, because there's been times where that shot spotter has went off and there's been cops in the area and they dispatched and they pulled over who they pulled over or caught who they caught. Shot spotters does save lives. And also it's a preventative measure to keep people from doing crime. I'm not saying it's the best deterrent. The best deterrent is to get more of us Black people calling the police, telling and snitching and getting rid of it. We need a slogan saying more snitching, pro snitching, or really get rid of that whole term and stop calling it snitching because it's only snitching if you commit a crime and you're a criminal and you both go to jail and you tell on your co-defendant. But the shot spotter one definitely worked. And guess what? Let me tell you something. But you mentioned the camera. Them damn cameras don't work. You think those cameras work? My car got broken into at 4 in the morning. I got home at 3:30 in the morning. My car got broken into. I left out the house at 7 in the morning to go to work. I go to the 15th district and I tell them I parked my car at 3:30 in the morning. I left out the house at 6:50. Guess what that man told me? I said, can you run? It's a camera. My car is right underneath the camera on Washington and Pine. He said, oh, we ain't finna do all that. That's exactly what the 15th district. So the cameras don't work. The cameras do not work. Or maybe the cops don't work. One of the two. And to Dre's point, you know why the people don't want to be sitting down in the office with them police? Because it's gonna be a dictatorship. It's gonna be whatever the cops say. They're not gonna listen to those people whatsoever. They're not gonna take into consideration what the people is saying concerns is in the neighborhood. They're not gonna take that into consideration. They're gonna do what the hell they've been doing and what they want to do. That's why I told you last time, when you had them district council meetings, y'all should have power over those police officers. They shouldn't be able to talk back. They shouldn't be able to do nothing. You are here to listen. This is a public official. This is you know what I'm saying, Dre. But again, we need shot spotters. And anybody who's saying get rid of them, you don't know nothing about crime. You don't know nothing. You're not close to it.
Well, let me ask you this. I was told real criminals don't give a damn about a camera or a doggone shot spotter. They gonna do what they gonna do anyway. Real criminals.
And you know what?
Are you talking about people like me that are law-abiding citizens? Or are you talking about criminals? Because criminals don't care one way or another, from what I was being told.
They care. Oh, trust me, they care. A lot of criminals scary. Steve, a lot of these guys are scary. They don't, and a lot of these guys don't even want, a lot of these guys really don't want to get into beefs with other people, and they don't want to shoot their gun. They really don't. They really don't. And it'd be the scary Negroes that go out and shoot somebody. It don't be the real criminals. It be the scary ones because they scared to get whooped or they scared to get beat up.
So again, but I don't think we're looking at levels of criminality. We look at just crime, criminals doing things against and creating victims. That's kind of how it looks. You got a victim, you got a criminal, and they're not saying, well, then this guy is a little bit. This heart is a little bit more brazen and more less caring. No, I don't think people even look at that. You see somebody with a gun, you ain't thinking that. You thinking this is some serious business, and we got to stop it. But the other thing is there are facts. There's been statistical data that says shot spotter hasn't saved lives. So I don't know where you
That's a lie. Well, I lived in the Austin area, so I know for a fact it saved lives.
So I'll say this to that, right? That's one of the things we, as a district council, some of us are against shot spotters, some of us are for it. I'm in the 4 category because I believe in technology's purpose in helping to fight crime, but I'm also in the group of we have to see the data. We have to see that how many people were arrested as a response to a shot spotter notification that had a prior situation or something, or how many diversions were, how many potential the crime were diverted because a shot spotter went off. Those type of things. And I don't know if this company has that type of data. So we would love to be able to talk about that and see that, but we don't know what that.
So let me ask you this, because the new school that's out there is saying, let's take that $10 million a year and use it for something else that can prevent crime.
Well, that's where I was going to go. Now, this is what they're asking for, because they're asking Okay, the whole thing, especially with this administration, is root cause. So what they would like to do is repurpose the $10 million to go towards the people and community. I'm gonna be honest with you. What's going to happen to that is what is happening to a lot of charitable giving, philanthropic giving, and other. It's going to the same organization, the big organization that we see have a lot of pomp and circumstance. They throw a lot of great parties, but what are they actually doing in terms of the development of the community and moving the community forward? I'm not, you know, I don't want to disparage them in any type of way and saying that they're not necessary or that they aren't making strides towards improving the community. But in a lot of ways, we know that it's the little people that are doing the heaviest lift.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
So if we could take that 10 million, last thing I'll say, we could take that 10 million and repurpose it to the smaller organizations that are doing the real heavy work, maybe continue to use the same funding sources for the big dogs, and the small people can now eat off this pot right here. We might be able to make some real headway.
And maybe they'll be the ones that spotting the shots themselves and tell us.
Man, that's all I'm saying.
So Bertha, you had something?
Yeah, honestly, I think part of our problem is a lot of people who saying get rid of the shot spotters, a lot of them are of CPD. But let's be honest. And DeAndre, you talked about statistics that people want to know. How does this company know how many people were really arrested? How many people got diversions? That's something CPD needs to know. That's not that company. Right. How's that company going to get that kind of information? So I think that they're putting something on this company that they know they can't produce. And let's be honest, if you all remember back a year or so ago, and I hear they trying to make him a commander, Jermaine Harris and I had the biggest fallout about these damn cameras because he's talking about get rid of the cameras and give the money to the youth. No, sir. Leave them cameras. Leave those cameras. I just think we as citizens, our voices are not heard, just like you were talking about, you know, what was going on around in this area here right off of Adams Street. Yeah. They're not listening to community. If didn't nobody hear nothing, baby, Carl spelled that shit out for him the other night. He spelled it out. So did Hyson. Yeah. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear it, but it was spelled out.
Carl Brinson in NAACP and Hyson of Anchor Chicago. Not to mention we had Alderman Irvin came to our district council meeting too, but he got us out of there for that time was over. I looked around like, damn, that man is a magician. He got us out of that quick.
That's because they called him out. That was because they called him out. But see, it should be more that I was so proud of Carl and Hyson that night. I didn't know what to do. I could have gave them my flowers.
What happened?
No, so he came in and you know what? So when you kind of on the back, I would have to go look at the tape to see exactly how they addressed them. I know Hyson, for example, was more about, again, some of the smaller organizations being able to get tapped because they have the communal connections that sometimes the larger boards don't have.
Who is Hyson? I don't know Hyson.
He's with Anchor Chicago, so he actually does a lot of work in that area. He was upset with me, man. He called me like, "Hey, man, how you gonna have a district council meeting in my backyard and not tell me?" I said, "Hello, sir. I didn't know. I've seen you out there before. I didn't know you was at the park like that. We have more parks." Yeah, man, I've been over here 20 years. Oh, well, goddamn. I'm sorry. Right. I said, well, we want to, the real. So we gonna have him in the next meeting so we can learn more about him. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell everybody, man, I'm trying to get a resource guide together of a lot of the organizations because a lot of them don't have, how you call it, like physical location. Don't have websites. I mean, it's a little difficult to keep track of who's who and who's where. It's not like a disrespect to them, but it's just like, man, you gotta. there's a couple things that got to be done. We in a different type of environment we operating in, you know.
So what exactly did Carl say? I'm still missing. Did anybody hear what he said? I mean, what was it
They
about?
basically talked about the violence in the neighborhood. Carl even talked about some trucks that were being, there that should not have been there. But one of the good things, and DeAndre, you kind of tapped on this, and it kind of ties all into it about how those big organizations get the money.
Right.
They called out 2 of those organizations that night. They called them out. Even though Jason tried to paint a pretty picture, they called them out. And then I found out, because I went looking after it was said.
Okay.
The youth that go to Bill are basically being bussed in. They not the kids that's from our neighborhood that's causing problems that need some redirection. They busting them kids in. So that big old building they done put up there on Harrison Street is not helping our children. It's helping children from other communities. How about that? That is horrific. We ought to all be pissed off, because that should not happen.
That's the same thing with this place down the street, that youth outreach down the street here.
Oh,
been out here 10, 15 years. I'm like, what y'all? I've been here.
On me.
What y'all do?
Yeah.
Me and Butch went in there, and we like,
that's ain't that my man Bernard Clay? Right here? Is that
I think so. I think so, DeAndre. But see, that's the thing. It happens with By the Hand. It happens with Build. It happened with Youth Outreach. I do believe that Kids Express is the only organization physically who get kids from the community. That is absolutely sad.
I don't even know who that is. Who is Kids Express?
Kids, see, that's a shame. Kids Express is on Harrison, just west of Laramie. Just west of Laramie. It used to be a YMCA or something, I think. But they were at one point, they were in a one of those little mobile things. But they actually have a physical building now.
But you said just west of Laramie on Harrison?
Just west of Laramie on Harrison. It sits on the south side of the street.
Wayne Irvin, well, he has a lot of multi-unit property.
Man, I don't know that. I ain't even heard of that. Now I gotta go find that.
Yeah, he spent his own money. And the tenants that live in his property have their kids automatically in the Kids Express program.
Huh, interesting.
So, yeah, those are actually. What about Project Inspiration, though? That's a good program, right?
Yeah, they're teaching kids STEM.
They taking up the community.
Yeah, those are kids in the community.
But the only reason I brought that one up is after it was brought up in that meeting, they talked about those 2 organizations. I went to search for myself. The kids that is going to Build, 90% of them are being bussed in from other places. So all of our children who have behavioral problems and stuff like that, they're not benefiting. Maybe if they spend some time with some of those children, maybe we wouldn't be having these problems. But you go get somebody from on the south side, on the east side, wherever, and they get the benefit from that building, and our kids right here don't. Now that's sad, and we're allowing it.
Like that shooting that happened with the kid got gunned down right in front of Bill, out of Michelle Clark. And then a week or so, it was a few incidents. And then my man from Bill called and said, Steve, we need to come organize by that store right there. I thought that's what y'all getting the money for. And I'm like, so you know there's a problem with the store and what's going on with the kids from the high schools and the schools right there. And you got all this money, people in there, and you didn't focus right outside your front door? I didn't understand that one.
So look, I'm gonna go ahead, Arm.
I was there when you writing all them plans for these organizations. I mean, they stand the benefit, so that's where the money is going. Well, I'm gonna let you say in a minute. But when me and Butch went down to Youth Outreach down the street, because we was like, what y'all doing? and we say, oh, we work with kids and young youth that have been in trouble and they got to do stuff for their probation or whatever. And then we look and it's like, none of these youth are from here. Oh no, they come from other communities outside of this. And I'm like, well, what about the youth that's over here? Oh, we can't have them mixed up. They told us we can't have them mixed up. I'm like, oh man. So you bring people to an island, but the people on the island can't stay on the island. They got to get off the island so they can let the people that they bring to the island get the coconuts, pineapple, and fresh fish and all that. I didn't understand it.
No, I think I did try about that. Which is
Mosaic got a question.
Oh, okay.
Stand up. You got a question? Mosaic? I guess not. That must be old. Let me put that hand down. All right, you about to say something?
No, I'm just saying, Bill is throughout the city in different communities as well.
Yeah, they've been around for what, 65 years or 60 years, but you know, again,
That'd be so interesting. You know, I again, we grew up in Austin. I didn't know nothing about any of these
I
programs.
never heard about Bill.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
What, 8 years ago, 7 years ago?
Right.
Never heard.
I ain't know nothing about
Bradley was the first person I met that knew something that came out of there. I was like, what's the bill? And what they building?
And,
Bradley.
Yeah, go ahead. You got one?
no, I was just saying, Bodie was.
Yeah, Booney, we know.
Yeah, we know Booney, right?
So,
Right.
I went in there, I thought I was in the shopping mall. I was like, where they build this shopping mall for?
I was gonna say, so it's interesting. All right, when they reached out to you about the store, that makes me think about. So I don't know if y'all seen this, but this just happened. I think yesterday. Alderman David Moore of the 17th Ward, he said he's gonna camp outside because right in the block where he lives is a drug house that has continual traffic, and he said he's talked to the police several times about it. And he said nothing is happening. So he said he's gonna take drastic measures. He's gonna camp outside. I only say that to pose like, what should our elected officials be doing? I said if I was an alderman, I would be outside on the block with the news cameras, and I would like constantly bringing attention. Like this is a problem. Like the guys would be there, man, what you on? I mean, I'm just saying this is a problem, guys. I don't know what we're gonna do, but
I'm trying to get you some advertising.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm thinking, like, how come we don't see more aldermen being proactive and really, I mean, you know,
because they lazy.
You know what that is? The Minister Louis Farrakhan said it. We got a lot of scared to death Negroes in the community. We got a lot of scared to death Negroes in the community. That man sound like Batman. He sound like we finna start hearing some vigilante stories. And that's the thing though. See, one thing I learned about white people, when white people got a complaint, they'll write the number down, they'll call on you, they'll go get the manager, they will go through all, you can't give them no bad customer service, you can't do nothing bad in their neighborhood. And like Dre said, we hear a gunshot and he said, and man, the fool said, a cicada. But it's like, we treat gunshots like it's normal. It's normal for us. Our culture with the younger people is a culture of degeneracy. We got twerking women, pants hanging, sagging men. You know, they sell drugs blatantly on the block. And another thing, and with the older black people, they vote the same goddamn way. Like you said, Steve, I'm a blue blood Democrat. And that ain't got us nowhere being a blue blood Democrat, voting for the same people over and over and over and complaining about crime. Come on now.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it up today.
You keep talking that same stuff about who we put in office. We put the best of which is the worst. Now, you pick the lesser evil.
Now, what we need is to raise some homegrown candidates who are able to withstand and go through all this other stuff and come out smelling like a rose. We don't have shit to choose from. So stop harping at it, try to find us somebody who's capable and eligible, and we can vote for a true grit, iron person who's gonna do what we say.
Now, you know
We
what?
can harp about it all we want, but until that candidate appears, we're gonna vote for the lesser evil.
You're gonna vote for the same person again. If you
That's
voted
right.
Democrat
Until we
all
can-
your life, you are the problem.
No,
Yes.
you
Yes,
are the
sister.
problem because you
Yes.
don't even vote. So hush. Hush. I don't want to hear nothing else from you about voting because you don't vote. So you
Yeah, I don't vote for Democrats. I don't do that. You're right.
You don't vote for nobody. Hush.
Yeah, my couch.
Hush.
But let me say this: if I was a red-blooded Republican, I'd be voting for Republicans. So it ain't no different. The problem is we ain't seeing nothing happening. And again, I keep telling you, Republicans don't want black people in their party. They have not catered to us to get our vote. All they do is talk about what the Democrats ain't doing, but they ain't said what they are going to do for us. So if you sold on silliness, keep promoting that, guys, because it ain't
That's
never
right.
happened.
That's all they can do is condemn. They never have a plan. They never said this is what I would do or that what I do. All they do is degrade and talk about the Democrats. They need a plan. Come out with something concrete. First of all, I do this. Second of all, I do that. I'll arrange it like this. I'll do it like this. You ain't heard nothing coming from none of y'all Trumpers. So shut the heck up and give us something bona fide.
Steve, did you get the video I sent you last night?
Yeah, right.
See, so you ain't watching, right?
No, I'm gonna look at it.
Okay, now wait. Now I'm glad you didn't watch it. Would me sending you that information? It's the same thing. When you give older black people information, I ain't finna look at that. When P. Ray came up here, that woman came up. I don't care if you don't like Trump. She gave stats. She gave statistics. She gave proof, and that woman was disrespected, yelled over. Nobody listened to her. No, I don't care what you got to say. I'm voting because I want my fried chicken and I want my turkey tail.
Okay, see now, Mosaic.
Yes, ma'am.
You are all right at first, but let's not keep doing the race thing. Let's not keep doing the ageism thing. Let's just stay on point. Let's just talk what we're talking about without swinging at somebody. That's when the water get muddy. We shouldn't be swinging at each other. We should be trying to work together to do something positive. Now, I want to go back to how are we going to work in this community? How are we going to stand together about however the information comes about these shot spotters so that we can stand together with the best information? Let's do that and stop ageism and racism. Let's stop that.
Let's go back to shot spotters. So let me say this. In my community, where I live, many of the white people say they want shot spotters. Nevertheless, they don't even have it in the community. Interesting. They say, oh, we got to keep that. We got to have that. That's saving lives. And I asked them, I said, well, how many lives does it really save? Do you really know? Well, the police said that they want it. And then I'm hearing you say that the police say they don't want it. But I guess they talking about
No. Police want it. She said, I think she's saying the anti-police people that want it.
Yeah, but she said Jermaine is the police.
Well, he said cameras though. And she said that was
Okay, he said
cameras.
cameras.
Yeah, he was talking about cameras.
Police superintendent smelling shot spotter. Yeah, for sure. Okay. I just, again, I mean, I had to break it down to the best way I could to this group of white people in my community. I said, let me say this. Me being probably one of the only people sitting in this room that has had a son killed and murdered, and the police did shit for over a year or something, and they caught the guys immediately. hiding the gun, trying to get away and hiding the gun, caught him, and all they said was, well, hopefully they'll tell on each other. That's all I got out of it. The shot spotter found them, but it happened in the white neighborhood in Lincoln Park, so the white people might have called, but shot spotter, I don't even think they got a shot spotter over there. So yeah, the white people called. They heard the shot. But again, we got the murder weapon, we got the criminals, but yet still, we can't throw it to the state's attorneys because we ain't got no case. How is that happening? I mean, at least and then the crazy part was one of the three people that killed him, that was there, he ended up back in jail 6 months later. After they murdered my son. So I'm like, what part of this makes any sense? Where law enforcement say they're doing all they can do, we can't do much more and get it over to the state's attorney to get a case. Right. And this
Right.
is what
That's what I was gonna say. Okay, so we have multiple elements of this. Because once you move on from the police, then you got the state's attorney. Our state's attorney has really changed the way that they operate in order to provide more equity for folks that traditionally didn't have it. And so now what we're seeing, especially in the light of no cash bail and just the Safety Act in general, is that there are people who are supposed to be in jail out on the no cash bail that are recommitting crimes or committing more crimes, however you want to call it. The one thing about the Safety Act that was introduced is that they're going to now start to track those incidents. They didn't have that before, which is very interesting, that they never tracked folks that were either out on bail or had gotten freed who recommitted crimes, but they're supposed to track it. It's behind. I just saw an article about it. It's supposed to came out, the first round of data was supposed to come out in September to let us know, folks that were just as involved that were did whatever else, another crime upon release. But that data is probably not going to come out. It may not even come out this year because it's being pushed back.
Well, you do know this is what I was speaking on was pre-Safety Act.
Right, it was a pre-Safety Act. And that's what I'm saying. So before the Safety Act, they didn't even track it. So the guy, like you said, went to jail and got let out and then recommitted a crime.
Right.
They never tracked that though before. They're tracking it now with the introduction of the Safety Act, which is mind blowing that they didn't have any data to track.
Now to expound on this a little more, now that I remember, I had a good friend that was I know him since he was 18. He used to work with us in engineering for a summer program. We hired him at the summer intern when I was a young engineer, about 23 years old. He was 18. We hired him out of high school to help in our department. He ended up going, after working with us for 2 or 3 years, he ended up going to the police department for 30 years. And he was a chief of detectives in Area Central. And I sat and talked to him about my son's case, although it wasn't anything that was in his preview or in his area. He said, Steve, I'm going to tell you, our clearance rate is horrible. Yeah. And he said, man, God bless you, because ain't nothing going to really happen. This is what he seen. Yeah. And he worked for the police. He was the chief of detectives. I know this dude. So, I mean, what can I say? You're right, Bert. The police, what are they really doing? The technology's there, but how are you using it? What's the point of having a laser guided gun thing for your gun if you don't know how to shoot a gun? You don't even know what a trigger is. You don't even know which is the front end. You're looking at the laser from this end, which pointing towards your face. So again, they got technology that I hate to use. I shouldn't even use that as an analogy, but technology is good if we know how to use it properly.
Yeah, for sure.
If we can make it work properly. I even talked to DeAndre. I said, man, what if we go to drones? What if they start using drones more? At least they could get in front of a lot of things. Let the drones just sit in spots and pick up things. The drones can follow behind cars and get license plates.
We're definitely going to go there. I mean, we already got a license plate reader. But again, like I say, so with the policing project, this is stuff we talk about internally, about drones, about robots, about AI, about data repositories. All of these things are already in place in different places across the country, but all of them negatively affect Black and brown communities. So the problem with all of it is, yeah, you can implement it, but we're going to take the brunt of it, and we're at some point gonna be like, okay, all right, this is unfair. This is unfair. Why ain't no robots down where the white people at? Why ain't all the drones flying in their airspace? We gonna say the same thing.
Well, look what happened with the light situation. The state has already had those on the expressway.
Yeah, they did.
And now there's a major lawsuit against the state police because of the having the license plate readers on the expressway.
Unfairly targeting.
But you know what? We have to look at it in a different way. Why was that water directed to our area?
Yeah.
So it ain't just the police. Why did we flood and why they didn't flood in the other areas? So come on, let's be honest. They do any and everything to us. So let's be honest. But the truth of the matter is, with the police, you got a union that think that they're untouchable.
Yeah.
The police can do something and they're never held accountable because of their funky union. How did the police shoot that boy all them times of recent and get away with it? That's just absolutely ridiculous. But the police have their part, and like DeAndre brought up about the state's attorney, they have their part. But when these people get back on the streets, I also blame the judge. Because regardless to what them lawyers say in that courtroom, the judge sits high. So the buck has to stop with the judge. That judge, Stephen, and I am so sorry that they let the people go. They killed your son. But in my son's murder, the judge and the lawyer were friends and they didn't give a damn who knew it. They talked across the bench. Hell, they might as well have let that boy go for what they gave him. And I had nothing to say about it. They no longer worked for me. They worked for my son. Ain't that some shit? The kid is dead, but they work for him. So it's the judge that I blame. It's not the Kim Fox. And to a certain extent, when the police arrest somebody, I don't blame them. I blame the judge.
Yeah, that matters too. That's multiple layers of components to this. It kind of brings us back to the whole voting thing, doesn't it? I mean, every single one of these positions are elected positions. I mean, outside of an attorney, but I mean, judges, state's attorneys, folks. I mean, these people come before us to ask us to put them in these positions to make decisions for us. And more often than not, if we don't like the decisions they make, we should be changing them, but rarely does that happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you know what, bro? They're not going to change it, because if you look at it, I don't know if anybody here actually believe in statistics. I do. I believe in statistics. And if you look at all of the violent offenders and all the violence out America, they're all in Democratic states. This is a fact. This is 100. I'm not trying to upset anybody or make any, cause any hysteria, but there's a pattern of criminality, and it's all Democratic ran states. Now, let me tell you something. I've been on the Democratic vote all my life. All my life. I have, because that's what I was taught. But once I started learning for myself, and I listen, Republicans don't care either. They don't care either. But there is a pattern. And why is it Democrat? Philadelphia, Democratic. Atlanta, Democratic. Chicago, Democratic. And the crime rate is high because we be playing with these laws. You can't play when it comes to criminality. You got to throw the book at these people. You get caught with a gun, you get 15 years. I don't care. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't play. Look what they did at El Salvador. Man, that man said, you know what? All y'all criminals. Man, he locked up all the people. And violence went down 98%. You got to hit crime with an iron fist. You can't play. We can't be all this. If the cops tell you, men, women, on here, you got kids, and if an officer tell you stop, you stop. You don't argue with the law. You do not argue with the law. I have a daughter. Today is Father's Day. And I tell my daughter, never argue with men. Men are dangerous. Don't argue with a man. You walk away. Separate yourself. Because men are dangerous. Women too, but men are dangerous. And we got to tell our kids, respect the law. If an officer pull you over, you pull over, roll all your windows down, carry all your information above your head. Don't put it in the glove compartment. Have it above your head, and then say, and wait till he come, and just have respect. That's the law. Follow the law, and you won't
And that
get popped
goes
up.
both ways. Respect goes both ways. And when you talk about,
no, hold on, sister, hold on. You right, it does. But guess what? You ain't got no wins with no cop. You can say that all you want, but if that cop having a bad day because he found out that his wife was cheating and he talking to you a certain way, guess what? You got to deal with it anyway, because who you gonna report to? Well, ain't no. See that attitude right there, sister? That'll get a black man killed. What you do? You deal with his little attitude, and then you go report him. That's how you do it. You don't argue with the law.
Record him in the process.
I agree.
You don't record nothing. You do it afterwards, sister.
And I teach my kids to record it too. You ain't got to let them know you record. You know, we can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree.
Yes, we can, sister.
know what?
Yes, we can.
Wait, let's look at it this way. Who got the gun and got the authority to shoot your behind?
There you go,
Why
sister.
are you going to antagonize the police? Get away. Stay
Never
alive.
said antagonizing. Never said that. See, this is
But
what
you don't stand up
this
to
is
it.
my point. This is my point.
Is that
Respect
gonna
goes
save
a long way.
I
Just
can't
because they
demand
got a gun,
respect
don't
from the police.
okay. All right, then. I'm not gonna argue with you. It's all in how you do what you do. And I don't believe that I gotta kiss the officer's ass because he got a gun and a badge.
Oh, yes,
Well,
you
I
do.
do.
I'm not gonna cuss him out.
I do.
Not
I do,
no,
because
I
I want
don't.
to see tomorrow.
You know
I
what?
wanna
Pucker
see
up.
tomorrow.
Pucker up.
Yeah, and I'm still alive.
I can agree to disagree.
Well, because
okay, well, hold on. Listen, real quick. Hold on, Steve. There was one time. It was on Pine. I got on Pine and Lake. The cop, he pulled me over. He said, "Spread your legs," and he touched it all on all underneath my balls area, my crotch area, and I was like, "Hey," he said, "Yeah, I'm on your shit. Guess what? There was nothing I could do, because if I would have fought that man or gave him any lip, they would have hauled me off. Sometimes life ain't fair, sis. We black.
That's not what I said. See, you misinterpreted what I said.
No, I
never said.
I'm very
no,
educated.
wait a minute. What I said is respect goes both ways. That's what I said. I said I'm not puckering up, but I have rights. I have a right to ask questions. I have those rights. And when I've taught my children, when the police pull you over, turn your phone on record and put it down. Because you're right. They have a right to say what they want to say, but I'm not making my kids give up their rights. I also tell my sons, don't argue with the police.
Right.
But I'm not going to tell anybody you have to pucker up just because they got a badge and a gun.
Oh yeah, if I want to see tomorrow, I will.
Well, then that's what you do. That's what you do.
Say, I will go and I will report him, get his badge information on the slide. Because if you do it openly,
you shouldn't have to do it on the slide. You have a right to ask a police officer that you should be able to see it. You should be able to read his name and his badge number. Why you got to do it on the slide? Y'all give up all y'all rights. I'm not giving up mine. And I want to see tomorrow. But we ain't going to argue about it. I'm not going to hold up their show arguing about the police.
I would say this. So we as the district council, at least definitely in 15, have committed to doing these Know Your Rights workshops. And so we actually did one late fall last year where we brought First Defense Legal Aid, we brought the ACLU, and I thought we had one more, but I'm drawing a blank. Well, two of the members were from ACLU, but they focused specifically on this pretextual stop thing because that's one of the things that has really resulted in an increase in stops for people of color, especially in our communities, because they use it as a way to search our vehicles. And we brought them out to actually talk about your rights when being stopped and some of the things that you can say as a result. So, like, one of the things that they said is if you don't want your car to be searched, you have to say, I do not consent to search. You know, and you say it that way, and anything that, if they do search your vehicle, and anything that they find is inadmissible in court because it's an unlawful search at that point because you didn't give them consent to search your vehicle. But you have to say that. I do not consent to being searched.
Search or seizure.
The search and seizure. And the other thing was, what was another thing they told us about being approached? They said, I want to say I will not speak until my lawyer is present.
Right.
That's the other thing. So, and so there's a few ways that you can actually take your power back when being stopped so that you don't feel as if a officer is abusing their rights. So to the point though, what Mosaic was saying, everybody said a few things to me that's key, that's right. You should record for yourself, and you should also, there you go, that's where I was going to go next. You should also make sure, is your camera on when you get stopped? You should ask the officer, is their camera on, and you can cut yours off as a legal citizen. The other thing is, as Mosaic said, you should have your proof of insurance, registration, and license somewhere. Either we all got the little sunglass holder or our visor so that you can reach up instead of having to reach over. And you got to roll all the windows down. That's another key thing. And generally, you do those things, you'll walk out of that with no issue.
All the way down.
It's best to roll them all the way down so they can see everything inside the vehicle. It makes it that much easier. You know what I mean? The other thing is, the other thing that they did tell us though, that a lot of people get wrong. They said, if an officer asks you to step out your vehicle, you have to. They said that. They said, and I didn't think that was the case, but they said if an officer asks you to step out the vehicle, you have to. Now you can ask questions though, like why am I being asked to step out the car? You know, now hopefully that doesn't escalate to anything. You can ask those questions if you feel satisfied by the by the answers. Then by all means, if you know you're good. But again, if they take you behind that, you say, I do not consent to being searched. I do not consent to my property being searched and seized. And then once again, if they do, that's violating your rights. The other thing that you could do, obviously, if you feel uncomfortable in a situation, I need to speak to a white shirt. You know, I refuse to do anything.
What if you're already out of the car and the police come up on you, you're already out of the car?
Walking? Or you're
out of the car walking. And then your car is
all right, so here's the thing. With that one, you can say, am I being detained or am I free to go? That's what you have to say.
Right.
Am I being detained or am I free to go? You can also ask them, what is the reason that you're being stopped?
They said traffic stop.
But you said, okay, so I'm trying to understand, because if you're out the car.
You're out of the car. Your car is sitting, let's just say, behind the NAC.
Right.
And police come around in the alley and they say, hey, what are you doing? This is a traffic stop. And they say, well, how's the traffic stop when I'm already stopped and I'm out of the car and you just came here?
I think, all right, so in that case, you know what? To be honest, the only thing is, okay, what do you want me to do? What are you asking me? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you got to get clarity on the decision because police officers and the way that they
I want you to get on the car so I can search you.
Again, the unfortunate is they have the lawful right to do that. You can ask why though. why am I being searched?
Because it's a traffic stop.
So then see, for me, I would have been like, that doesn't equate then. You're going to search me for a traffic stop. I'm out of my vehicle, so what are you searching me for? And then I'd be like, you know what, sir? I respectfully would like to see a white shirt because you're not explaining this to me. You know what I mean? And then I'm popping on my, you know what, give me a second. Let me just put my camera on because I feel a little bit of energy here that I don't think needs to be had because this is just a conversation at this point. You know what I mean? And so one of the things that, again, Mosaic and Miss Houston spoke to, the unfortunate is that officers have the ability to take your life. And you have to remain as calm as possible so that they can remain as calm as possible. If they being dicks about it, though, there's no way around it, though. You're going to have to figure out the best way, unfortunately, to keep yourself alive. Because there are some dickheads out there.
Then you get put in the car because now you got multiple cops come because they want to shake everything down.
Right.
Then they say, you know, you be in a little position. Let's put these cuffs on you. We throw you in the car. We throw you in the car and they go, well, we got to take your car because, you know, we detaining you. We got every right to detain you. And if we detain you, we can take your car. And we're going to search your car before we, you know, take you in.
Again, why am I being detained?
Traffic stop.
Yeah, but see, this is where we gotta understand our own rights. You're not just gonna detain me for saying traffic stop. I cannot sit and allow you to detain me by keep telling me traffic stop and that you leave it at that. Sir, excuse me, what do you mean traffic stop? Did I make a right without my turn signal?
Right.
Did you see the expired plate sticker? Did I have something hanging from the window? What are we talking about here?
You got expired plates. Yeah. We
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so what are we gonna do? Are you giving me a ticket or are you detaining me? And if you are gonna detain me, what are you detaining me for?
Detaining you and we're taking your car because now we have you detained. You gotta take your car.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be like, sir, none of that sounds right. Could you give me a supervisor? I would like to speak to a supervisor. Somebody that can explain to me what is happening right now. Right. None of this makes sense.
What's the time?
Man, none of this is making sense to me, sir. I'm sorry. Like, you're going to have to tell me something.
I don't know why people always say sir, too, because I guess that's another way of saying asshole.
I mean, you know,
that's what you're being. You just ain't trying to. You're just wasting a lot of time, you know. All this stuff going on and you doing this.
Man, listen, that's what I would have been on. I'm like, look, man, we know where we at, okay? Could you just give me a ticket, tell me when my court date gonna be so I can go? Because that's ultimately what this is gonna result in. Like, man, bro, I like you gotta speak to the human and listen. You're gonna have a long night. I know where you know where you at. I know where you at. Just give me my ticket if that's what we're gonna do as a result, and just so I can go ahead and be about my business. If the plate's expired, it is what it is. I have to take that and we'll figure it out in court. But come on, man, like let's not do that. You know?
I mean, listen, if you going, I feel like if you going through all of that questioning, you got some cocaine in that car, and you just take your charges. Cause I ain't never been questioned that many times. I ain't never been questioned. And the only time I feel like a cop should really pull over a car if there's no traffic, if you see these little hoodlums in our neighborhood with the mask all on their head and they riding 4 deep, pull them over. I don't give a damn. Pull them over. Pull them right over. Because ain't nothing scarier than seeing four black men with masks riding around in a Buick LeSabre. Man, pull them over, especially if it's green.
Let me say this to you, Mosaic. You never lived in the South. Because ain't nothing scarier than seeing white people with hoods on coming down the street.
I'm a city boy. They know not to play with me. See, they got you spooked because you from out there. Not no city boy. Not us. I come from Granddad.
Let me tell you something. I got a cousin that's in Mobile, and he's married to, she's like the Kim Fox. She's a state's attorney down there. And she asked us, we went down for a reunion in 19, and she said, why all the black kids up north fight the police? And I said, really? I said, because they peeling them kids' heads. And they ain't trying to get their heads peeled. I mean, I get it down here. You gotta get in the street and you gotta make sure you know what side of the fence you on, you know what side of the fence, they want you. They tell you down there, you Negroes need to know your place. And they tell you that. And that's what they do. Hey, yes, it's working for them. But she literally asked the question, why are all the black kids up north fight the police? I'm like, what? Are you serious? They trying to live. Because they getting their heads peeled to the white meat. If they lucky, if they fight. But, it's a different location. But back to your point, Mosaic, when you talking about the states being Democratic, it's not even that, man. It's America. America is a prison state country. We have the most incarcerated people in the world. We have probably the most crime. I don't know. I mean, you don't hear about all this kind of crime in other countries, but we do have a lot more freedoms. So,
yeah, we have a lot more freedoms. We could carry guns. You feel me? And it makes sense because we were took over by the monarchs, and George Washington said, "Hey, listen, we gonna have us some guns. We ain't gonna never be took over by no monarchs again." But what I'm saying is, Steve, though, if you statistically, yes, it's in this country, but statistically, it's in Democrat ran. Look at some Republican states. Crime is not high in Republican states. This is a fact. And why is it that our crime rate is almost just as high as the white population, and we only 13%?
Give me an example of a Republican state that doesn't have a high crime.
So let me see. I'll say,
Texas.
They don't have a high crime rate. They don't. I don't think they have a high crime rate in Texas.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And you can't say crime because of what the state is per capita. How much crime is per capita?
Right.
That's then you're talking numbers. And hell yeah, Texas is high. Per capita, Texas is high.
It is high. It's high. Even in Alabama, crime is high. I mean, it's per capita, like it's said, it's per. Now, if you want to talk about North Dakota or something like that, ain't that many people living in North Dakota, first of all. So, in the Indian reservations, they have their share of crime. But
ain't no black people out there.
I saw something today that was interesting, and they talked about little less research numbers that people don't tend to focus on. So, for example, we talk about democratic cities that have a higher crime rate, and we generally contribute that to people of color, generally black people, since we all black on the line right now, we'll focus on that. But they said also, you gotta realize, black people are 7 times more likely to get treated like a criminal, and as well as like more than 50% more likely to actually get set free because they weren't actually the criminal. So as it relates to our incarceration rate, the back end is a lot more telling than the front end. A lot of us are going to jail for no reason in some respects. So
that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
It's those numbers that we don't look at. That is very true. For example, we had John Burge was a rogue police officer. Now he had a little team of people with him, but he locked up a ton of black men, tortured them too. All of them were innocent and set free, and the city just paid out, I don't know, I'm saying millions of dollars toward these folks because of it, and still paying, as Arnold just said. So no, it's true. We got to look at those numbers too.
Man, every nigga I know that got locked up, they deserved it. Every last
Jesus.
one of them. I ain't trying to hear that.
DeAndre.
Huh?
DeAndre, you've met my brother. People talk about, the way people dress, the way you do this. My brother worked for the railroad for almost 40 years. He often tells a story about how he went into a restaurant in his railroad clothes, and everybody walked past him because of the way he was dressed.
Right.
All of a sudden, a young lady came up to him after he waited 15 minutes to see what he wanted. He said he sat down, he was too mad to eat. He had a cup of coffee, tipped her $40 and left. Moral of the story is just because somebody ain't dressed the way you think they should be dressed does not mean that they're less than. Why do everybody wear a white shirt got to be a gangbanger? Everybody pants hanging low got to be a gangbanger. Maybe that's how they want to dress. Everybody dressing like that is not a bad person. We need to stop. We are our own worst enemy. The white folks don't have to put us down. You got black folks doing it to us anyway. Okay.
If your pants is below your ass, you's a criminal. I don't care what you say.
You know what, sir? I know people who pants at their waist and they still a camera. Well, then maybe you should lock them up. Maybe if you have that authority, you should. You know what, sir? I try to be respectful to you, but you just so disrespectful. It's just really ridiculous. You really
ain't nobody told you the truth because you think you know everything, and I'm here to check you.
I would say this too, though. There was a point in time where all the gangsters wear suits. You know, in some respect, I like to wear my long coat because I feel like a monster. You feel me? I feel like I'm taking it back in the day when I was running for Alderman the first time. Man, when I was running for Alderman the first time, it got rough out there, especially around the 28th Ward. Man, somebody got shot and they were like bullying the women. So I started carrying my gun on me. You know what I mean? I got big 45, so I'm in there like Shaq. You know what I'm saying? I got my holster on up under my coat, and that's how they used to do it back in the day. They used to walk around, you know what I mean, at the long coat. They got suit and tie on, and so just because, like Ms. Bertha said, like it's some people out here, you know what I mean, that'll be the cleanest, smoothest. They'll get rid of you the quickest too. You know what I'm saying? Now I wasn't out there for nefarious activities, but I'm just saying. You know, I had to lace up too, and if I would have to lay somebody down, damn, he was clean doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, man, you know what I mean. So there's fact in that. I mean, not everybody has to, you know, have the sagging pants and the ski mask. Some people out here, you know, they want to look good when they do it. I suppose, you know.
Yeah, you know what? Not everybody with a ski mask is a criminal, but I tell you one thing, you got a high percentage of me shooting you if you walking behind me and you got a ski mask. You over there trying to make a fashion statement with a ski mask, because there's a guy that work at the facility I work at, he wears a ski mask. If I seen that young man somewhere outside at night with a ski mask, not knowing that's him, he liable to get shot because of his appearance. You got to some of us got to grow up. You got to grow up, and you got to dress your age. And if you looking like a hooligan, this is America. You're going to be treated like a hooligan. Not everybody who wears these type of clothes are bad people. You are right. You are right, my sister. And you don't need to be upset.
You know
with
what,
me.
sir?
I'm just telling you the truth.
Sir, me and you are
no
not going to talk anymore. All this disrespect and checking people, that's not me. That's not me. I come on this show to have a conversation, not to be checked. That's not me. And that seems to be your MO every time I get on this show. That seems to be your MO. I mean, somebody earlier said the same thing to you. You need to grow up and you need to learn how to have a conversation. But I'm done with that.
They said the same thing to Jesus. He had to check people. So I'm sorry, sister.
You say this about the mask, because I see people with surgical masks on walking down the street. And I'm like, and they're white people and Asian people and others. And I'm like, what's going on? You know? So is it the mask or is the color in the mask that makes the difference?
No, I'm talking about those ski masks, Steve. Not the COVID masks, the ski masks.
Face is covered.
What's the difference? A ski mask versus a COVID mask, Steve? What's the difference? It's a baklava.
Yeah, the COVID mask, you see the eyes, you see all this, like you can't read, you know. When you're talking about a full ski mask in which only thing you can see is your eye.
In
So,
the heat
like,
of a summertime at night, like no.
a COVID knife, look, you can see ears, you still got neck, you can see eyes, eyebrows, right? Like you can see all of some prominent features. You just can't see mouth and nose. With ski mask, you just see eyes.
You do remember before pre-COVID, those young boys were walking around with doctor's masks.
Yeah, with the doctor's mask.
People up.
Yeah.
That's all.
And there are some burn victims who wear full masks. So everybody who wears full masks is not a criminal either, because I've worked on a burn unit. People with burns often wear full masks as well.
That's true. Yep.
I'm gonna tell you, one of our guys, Al, I wish we could have had him on tonight. Al Mistar. He's got a new nonprofit program, and it's called "This Is Your Brain on Guns," and it's kind of like playing off a parody of when.
Oh, he's about Al
Stinson.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Stinson, right? I know it because I know Al Mistar. My fault. But nevertheless, he has a program called "This Is Your Brain on Drugs." On guns. Kind of playing off of when Ronald Reagan's wife had that, this is your brain on drugs. Yeah. And he said to me the other night, because he was at that Sarah birthday, you should have came to the leadership lab ceremony Friday. It was pretty nice on the rooftop. But anyway, he said the whole idea behind it is it's your brain telling you to shoot and to use these guns. And I'm like, yeah, your brain tells you to do everything, but he said if we could get in front of that by getting to their brains, and reprogramming their brains with these guns, then we can make a difference. I think that's what he's trying to get to. But I didn't get all the logistics behind it, but something to that effect.
Yeah, well, I think part of it too is this idea that because many of these young folks don't have either positive male role models in the house or in the community, or period, they are using the gun as the father. That was the how you call it? That was the he was saying metaphorically, if you will, especially when he came and talked to us at Austin when we did our district council meeting, is that this is their protector, their provider, right? Like they feel safer, and that's what he was saying, that the man in the household typically can provide for a young person. They give them, the source of protection, provide for them, and the gun is like summarily that same thing because he isn't present.
He went on to tell me, he's like, man, like his son. He said, my son, man, he gonna have to do time. Yeah. He said, because every time I look around, he getting another automatic weapon. He said, man, he done had so many. He said, where you getting this one from now? And you remember they had that shootout on Mason in the 1200 block? He was running down the street from the scene. He said, because he asked me, man, y'all see my son on it? I was like, wow. And then his son, when he was working with Mr. Jacobs with the work program, he asked that, hey man, can y'all pick him up out here in Wood, just leave him, drop him back out, instead of coming from the city. And we made special arrangements to make that happen because, he was deep into some things. And, but again, these guns are out here, man. And then like DeAndre said, they're multiple. They're fully automated. Yeah. 100 shots in 10 seconds?
Less than that.
Steve, I hate I missed the graduation the other night, but I do know Al, and I know Kenya. But yeah. I was speaking at UIC School of Nursing, and I'm going to send you all the picture. When I walked in, I was taken aback because in the lobby, there was this statue. It was a gun with a peace symbol on the top. And I was kind of offended by it. But the artist was standing there, and I asked him, what was the meaning? And he said that if guns have to be around, they should shoot peace, not bullets. And I kind of understood that concept, still didn't like the statue, but I understood what he was trying to say. So a lot of times, people are doing a lot of things to try to deter people from these guns to kind of combat some of this violence. And Al Stinson is really doing that work. You know, that brother is really out here. He's really trying to make a difference. So, you know, I'm really trying to support him in his work as much as I possibly can.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Yeah, every bit of the way. I mean, we gotta look at how we're gonna change. You remember Bertha and everybody? There was a lady on the South Side. This was almost 10 years ago. And every time a young kid got killed, she made these clay things and she put them on a shelf with their name on it. And I'm like, man, that's a lot of signs up there. It was at the time, it was probably about 50 of them or so. And I'm going, man, that's a lot of names up there for just young people being killed. And this was 10 years ago, man. Can you imagine? She probably doesn't even have that little spot like that anymore.
You know, it was her, and then there was this guy who would make crosses for everybody who got killed, who died not too long ago. But yeah, it's people out here that really do that work to help support survivors, you know, that have been affected by gun violence.
Right. I mean, we gotta look at doing our part. And I say this to everybody. We keep talking about the problems, we know who's doing it, but the issue is it ain't coming from these penthouses, it's coming from the block. Everybody knows somebody that's doing this stuff. When these guys talk, they can't even hold water, they tell and they talk. And it's right on the block. And it's like they go back and they do it again, right off the block. They may not do it. Sometimes they do it right on the block and they do it off the block. But the problem is, it's all occurring from people right on the block. And we know it all. We do know this, you know, and nothing comes out of it. We want to live like this, and everybody talking about, well, I'm gonna get my gun, and I'm gonna start up with my gun, and this, yeah, okay, but is that really solving the problem? They're really solving the problem.
It don't necessarily, but what they say, you'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Is it judged by 6 and carried by 12? How does that go?
Yeah, wait, I think that's not right. No, the jury. That's what I'm saying, the jury can decide. Right, yeah, because you're only carried by 6. Yeah, they don't need 6 people to carry you out. Yeah, so judged by 6 or carried by 12. Judged by 12 or carried by 6. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, when we're in such a dense populated area, man, I don't know. I don't know how this really supposed to. Then people say, well, look at Texas. It works in Texas. Really? Does it really work in Texas?
No, I don't. Honestly, it doesn't work anywhere where guns are, because if people use them, that's right. The thing. That's the unfortunate.
Right.
You know?
They're going to get used. That's what they're getting them for, you know? I mean, and then if they get in the wrong hands, which everybody says, they got in the wrong hands. Really? Did it really get in the wrong hands?
Yeah.
You know? When we talking about police shooting the person 92 times, did the gun get in the wrong hands? Or, you know, what are we saying? It's America, man. That's all I can tell you. And until we look at trying to reroute or go back to something that worked when it came to firearms and weapons and crime and all this, I think we're just digging a bigger hole.
Yeah, but what has ever worked though? You know, we really
what has ever? Well,
yeah, in terms of crime prevention, what has ever really worked? I mean, and keep in mind, crime is much lower than it is than now than it was, say, in the 90s, right?
We know that.
Right. So,
but then, you know, but for Black communities, can we really say that? Because we see it constantly. It's like saying, you know what? I got 2 feet on your throat, but I'm gonna let 1 foot off. Well, guess what? I'm still choked because your whole body's weight is still on you. So we see it and we don't see it because it's almost like you still feel the pressure.
Right.
You know, you can tell me that there were 2 feet on my throat. That's why you couldn't breathe. Now you got 1 foot on my throat. I still can't breathe. So
seeing it and reading it, that's what is different. I mean,
yeah, that's true. Like I said, the people in my community saying, we need that shot spotter. We got to have that. I'm like, well, we don't have one over here. How does that really help us? Well, you know, it's preventing crime. It's preventing deaths. Okay, really? Do you know the statistics? Because I just sat with the young man out of Pilsen, and he's the one that's the one promoting not having a shot spotter. He's the one following all the data and statistics. He's the one dropping it in all these meetings. And I'm saying, what's true here? I don't know what's
Well, I don't want you know where our alderman stands as far as the shot spotter. Is he for the shot
He's
spotter?
for it. Yeah, he's for it. He's for it.
And the mayor is against it.
And the mayor's against it.
So we have an alderman of the ward for, and the mayor of the ward against.
Wonder has he been shutting down?
No, there is no data.
No, there you go. So he's just putting his finger, wetting his finger, putting it in the wind. You know, yeah, right.
There's no data. I mean, like I said, this whole thing with shot spotters started out of Toledo. You know,
that's what
the
they got
unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're gonna keep bringing up. The unfortunate, the young man and somebody else was shooting at cars. He's 12 years old. He's shooting at cars at what? Too odd in the morning.
Right.
Shot spotter alerted the police to the shooting.
Right.
When they got there, him and the guy took off running. They chased him and they cornered him. And when he went, and they put their hands up. When he goes to put his hands up, gun is in his hand. So gun coming up and they shoot.
Right.
So
a lot of things went wrong there.
I mean,
2 in the morning, 12-year-old, whatever, 13-year-old, out. Second, he got a gun. Third, he got an automatic weapon. Fourth, he's shooting at cars. Fifth, they say he was shooting at black people in cars. Sixth, when the police seen him and he ran off, he shouldn't have never ran off. You know, he had the gun. Then he goes to try to discard the gun, and you know, hey, it's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. That's a lot of math.
There's a mural over there on Isley. That was street is on. So it's on Isley. Big mural on the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Of all that I just said?
No,
just out of Toledo.
With the wings on his back, with a halo on his feet, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but again, that's where the whole issue with shot spotters started. The activists believe he would still be alive today if the technology hadn't alerted. But if it's interesting because we get into semantics because I'm gonna be honest. If their mother or father was driving that at night and he shot at them and hit them, we got a different story. So I'm like, I almost like, bro, like what? I'm puzzled as to why shot spotter needs to be held accountable for that.
But then to again, DeAndre, the whole thing goes back to this. They were shooting an automatic weapon. Nobody called the police. If it had not been for shot spotter, the police would have never been alerted. So it all goes back to that same thing that they came because of the shots being fired.
Right. And that in turn saved somebody's life.
Yeah. I mean,
yes, it did, Steve. Yes, it did, Steve. You're right. They took that. They took that little boy out. That little boy was demonic. He shouldn't have been out there doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm always in with district councils, again, we have, half and half almost. I would say 35, 36 of us, are more on the side of pro-community, if you will. So, we're about changing or at least producing alternative policing strategies, really trying to figure out the best way to have police operate in these communities. Some of them are super on the side of like abolishment and all of that. That's not where I stand. But, I would say at least 36 of us are in that bag. And the other 30 are, more or less police aligned, if you will. So there's always a lot of contention in our meetings as it relates to these technologies and everything else. And both sides are like, bro, produce the numbers. Like, what is it? But again, everybody keeps going back to Adam Toledo, and generally that's it. And it's just like, okay, and And they keep talking about the $10 million that it costs to run the technology, and then now they're talking about the organization behind it and how, you know, it hasn't been as effective in other cities across the country, as well as it hasn't produced any results as to why this technology should be had, you know.
Right.
So it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
I think that we gotta get centered on all of this. You know, pull from this side, pull from the other side. And we gotta get centered, because you said, what worked in America? Okay, let's look at when it was the Wild West. People carried guns and they didn't carry guns.
Right.
But if you saw your guy with the gun and he had to square up with you, it's gonna be a shootout. Everybody get off the street. He on one end, I'm on the other end.
Right.
Now we gotta shoot it out, because something that happened in the meanwhile between times or whatever.
Well, then they expanded where the George Floyd incident occurred.
That's a good question. What the technology?
The shot spotting was expanded in some other areas. Can you look into that?
Yeah. Let's see.
I remember, matter of fact, birthday, we were on your block when you did that event that year. And Angel Novalis was over there, and he was like, "Look, Steve, we got this great technology now. Look," he shows me on his phone. Look, we could find wherever somebody shoots, and it shows right here where they were at. It shows it, and I'm looking at this going, "Oh, that's interesting." You know, you could show me where the rain patterns were, where rain came down. That don't mean nothing to me. Did the rain do damage? Did anybody stop the rain from flooding? Did it, you know? You show me these spots on the phone. That's good. So I thought he had something solid, saying this is really helping us now. But I don't know. I just, you know, say. But y'all, just checking something real quick. We're gonna talk about what y'all need to know. So coming up, y'all, you need to know for sure that we are going to have a big celebration to let everybody in the community know on the 29th from 6 to 11, 7 to 11, 6 to 10. Well, you know, you got to let them know how we're going to get the feed.
Yes, sir.
Root beer and Mountain Dew.
So we got, so it says, just a quick, ShotSpotter has 25,580 microphones across the country. It is in 9 cities it is in 84 metropolitan areas, 34 states in the U.S. It is 9 cities have more than 500 sensors, and that includes Albuquerque, New Mexico, Chicago, Illinois, Washington, D.C., San Juan, Puerto Rico, and Las Vegas, Nevada. It says, let me see. So it generally, when there's blocks or clusters of people that total anywhere from 6 to 3,000, there's at least one sensor in that area. It says 70% of the people that live in a neighborhood with at least one sensor is identified as either Black or Latin. It says 3/4 of those neighborhoods are generally non-white, and the average household earns a little more than $50,000 a year. So it says, for perspective, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is 43% white, but only 13% of the residents who live in areas that have at least one ShotSpotter device is identified as white. It says, in Fort Myers, Florida, 19% of the population is Black. And in those areas where the sensor is, approximately 41% of the people are Black. So the entire population is 19% Black, but in the areas where the sensor is, 41% of them are Black. So
I'm gonna tell you, man, I still go back to the 40 blocks. the best way to curb all of this, you gotta have people that care, that stay connected, and they communicate. And then you gotta keep that in a linear fashion, at least 3 to 4 blocks in a row. You can have one block that's not, out of those 4 blocks in a row, you can have one block that's not engaged like that, but they can't be 2 blocks in a row out of the 4, because it breaks the loop, it breaks the communication, it breaks the channels, it breaks all of that. And when people are like that, man, all that other stuff diminishes. And you can tell, the reason I know, you see how they do it in Oak Park. I see how it happens where I'm at. I see how it happens over here in the Northwest Austin on certain blocks. And that's stuff that I've monitored over 30 years. And I'm like, what is similar about these places where they don't have that amount of violence, crime, and all that? Yeah, there was a shooting, which I'm going to report that right now, right here on the corner. But anyway, let me read this information. So the morning of June 3rd, 2 shootings. Person shot, notification at 1541 North Linder, 2:08 hours, whatever that means. Male, black, 20 years. 1 gunshot wound to the chest, critical condition. 1644 North LeClaire at 3:55 hours. Male, black, 24, gunshot to the chin and graze wound to the neck. Good condition. That was on the 3rd. June 9th? Wait a minute. June 9th, yeah. Notification for 2 shootings in the 25th district. This is June 7th. I'm sorry. I just got the information on the 9th. June 7th, 9:48 p.m. to 5826 West Division. So Ella, that's right here. It's right here. It says that male, black, 38 years old, shot multiple times about the body, fatal condition. June 9th, 136, at 3901 West Dickens, that's further north. Female Hispanic, 30 years old, graze wound to the neck, good condition. Man. But, I mean, this is just stuff that I get. And you probably get it too. Yeah, you still get it, but I mean, come on. Did you know about that one, Ella, at the end of the block?
Oh, that's like on Monitor, right?
3800 is right here between Mayfield and we 3700. So it's gotta be
57. Yeah, I had heard about that. I was trying to find out if I had knew the guy that had got shot, but they said that he was shot and had a gun in his hands. That's what I heard.
So it might be a Monitor, because 57 might go all the way up to Mayfield to Menard, because these are short blocks. So it could be, yeah. I never pay attention to it, because there are only 2 properties between Waller and Mayfield. I mean, Waller and Menard, there are only 3 properties, and we take up 2, a whole block pretty much, and the church takes up half a block. Right. That's it. And so, wow.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna read these quick little asides about ShotSpotter. This is from a Wired article. This was February 2024. So it basically says, and this is a couple paragraphs about Chicago. I just read those. So it says, in January, Southside Wheaton reported that sound thinking sensors in Chicago failed to issue an alert for a 55-round shooting at a gyro shop that wounded 2 men. According to internal company emails reviewed by the publication, the cause of the missed detections were 3 out-of-service sensors. According to the file, as many as 357 sensors in the Chicago metropolitan area were broken, unreliable, or out of service at the time the file was created, which is 9% of the total. Additionally, it says, where else? I just saw the next one. It says in February, a leaked internal report from the state's attorney's office in Illinois Cook County, where Chicago is located, found that nearly a third of arrests stemming from a ShotSpotter alert had nothing to do with a gun. And it says on February 13th, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, a local critic spotter, said the city wants the newest contract with Sound Thinking.
So where does that money go now?
The other piece too speaks to the arresting piece y'all was talking about. It says, now this is from Northwestern School of Law. It says, in marketing material, Sound Thinking claims that its gunshot detection system has a 97% aggregate accuracy rate over a 2-year period. Experts question those figures. A 2021 study conducted by the MacArthur Justice Center at the Northwestern University School of Law found that over 2 years, 89% of ShotSpotter alerts in the city did not lead to police finding evidence of a gun-related crime on arrival, such as shell casing.
What was the percentage again?
It's at 89.
90%.
Yeah. It says recent investigations by both Knox LA and Houston Chronicle have summarily raised doubts about the system's effectiveness. Both reports found that gunshot alerts triggered by the software largely resulted in dead ends for police. And then it says finding shell casings can be extremely difficult. A Los Angeles Police Department officer not authorized to speak to the media tells Wire they spent hours searching for bullet casings. Just because officers don't find evidence of gunfire, they say, doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, that is some of the reasons why, activists saying they should get rid of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think there's got to be something better. If it's not really, yeah. Or maybe it needs to be in conjunction with the video. You had cameras on every corner, and then you had those, hey, well, not every corner, but in strategic locations.
Right.
And then like you said, people be complaining, why are they only in my neighborhood?
No question.
But these cameras have been around over 10, 15 years now.
Right.
So I'm like, people, I've been around longer than that. Remember the blue boxes with the
right.
with the flashing lights?
Right.
That was the first one. That was 20 years ago or more. So
right.
I'm like, I don't know.
People still was up on them.
Yeah. They go right around the corner to the alley. It's like, oh, they'll test it. That doesn't can't see over here, so I'll go right there.
Right.
It's we gotta do better. We gotta do better because what's going on ain't work. Look what happened downtown with last week at the subway at like 10 o'clock at night. The white girl was in there with some, I don't know who else was in there. Somebody shot up in the place, hit two guys, one of them was black or whatever. She didn't get hit, but they were afraid to come outside, so they had to go out through the back of the subway, and they waited like 10 minutes without the back, called the police and this and that. They got nobody. Right there in the loop, right by Wabash and something, because you could tell what it's. Well, I don't know. It was in the loop.
Well, they did catch the guy that stabbed that lady, and some individuals.
Yeah, that was stabbing.
And called them, but they caught that on with the ShotSpotter and all the others.
Wait. They caught a stabbing on ShotSpotter?
Yeah, I mean the cameras and all that.
Oh, the cameras. Yeah, not ShotSpotter. I'm like, how you stab somebody with ShotSpotter? We didn't come out. Huh? But a knife doesn't make a sound.
I agree, but it was split. They had a lot of footage. Cameras.
Oh, that's cameras. Yeah. Right. It could have been private cameras too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. You know what time it is?
Yes, sir. We at the top of the hour, so we're gonna go around the room to get some final thoughts while we wrapping up.
What you got, Tiny? Anything? Bertha, what you got for us?
As always, great conversation.
Gotcha. Don't forget to show up on 29th for the party. How about you, Crystal? Anything in conclusion?
Let's see, great conversations, and let's see. Yesterday was our second farm to table free trolley tours in Austin. It went around to the different events actually for Juneteenth and everything. So that was fun for the kids and the families that were on board the trolley. And the next trolley will be July 11th. starting at the Austin Town Hall Farmers Market at noon.
What day is
And
that, a Thursday?
Yeah, that's a Thursday. And the flyer's on Facebook and, and it's actually the header on my Facebook page. Also, if you scan the QR code on there, you can, register for the trolley.
Doing it, you're doing it.
Hey, let's take a step back. So Bertha actually have her first fundraiser for our organization coming up next Sunday. You should mention that.
Yes, we're doing our first fundraiser, at the Columbus Park Refectory from 6 to 10. And we're going to be celebrating survivors and uplifting survivors. So, Crystal, I haven't talked to you, but I will be reaching out to you because I want as many survivors in the room as possible. Because we usually don't have a seat at the table. So we will all be at the table.
Okay.
And also congratulations on your new spot.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm around every day, so give me a call tomorrow.
Okay.
That's right. We got to talk about that. That tour that Crystal had and the grand opening. I was there. I think you came
late, but I didn't get on the trolley.
Talk about that. That's from this week. That was this week, right?
Last week.
So, anybody, Barry, you got anything in conclusion? Ms. J, you got anything in conclusion? Ella, anything in conclusion?
Yes, happy Father's Day to all you fathers. And I enjoyed ourselves tonight. So.
Oh, yes, happy Father's Day. Sorry.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
I said the Father's Day half a day. Y'all go back to work. Go over there and barbecue for yourself and then go back to work.
That's a fact.
Okay, Mosaic, you got anything in conclusion?
Yeah, my words are a little harsh. My tongue gives a sword, and Jesus, he wasn't when he was on earth. Malcolm X wasn't popular when he was on earth. Marcus Garvey wasn't popular. So I know the things I tell y'all, it connects with you because a lot of the people get emotional about it because it's the truth and it hits you hard. And so, me and my brother, we come on the show every Sunday. We the forefathers of this podcast. We started it together. We came up with the idea. So when we give you guys information, it's gonna hurt your feelings because it's the truth. But what I want you to learn how to do is believe in fact over feelings. Separate how you feel about something and just look at the facts. You feel me? So we are the messengers, and just get in line.
I'm have to say in the honorable words of Danny K. Davis, if you want to call themselves a leader, they ain't much of a leader. They ain't got nobody to follow.
Hey, man.
Yeah, crazy, man.
All right, Tamika, you got anything in conclusion?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the show today. I want to say happy Father's Day. And DeAndre, I went to 3Ds and the chicken is banging today.
Appreciate that on me. We came to the park over there with Raheem for the what was this, Juneteenth Day celebration yesterday. It was nice. It was nice. I only spent about 40 minutes, but 40 minutes I had was great. It's always great. I'm trying to spend more time if I can next time they have it over there. But as for me, again, I want to thank everybody that came out and on this Father's Day, especially the fathers. Like I said, we don't get no whole day. We just got to go barbecue for the family and then go do what we got to do. Go back to work, and work. And we appreciate the thank yous and and what do you call it? The fathers, we call it acknowledgement. There you go. Absolutely. Arnold, what you got? anything coming up next week? Oh, for those that do live in Galewood, we will be having a community meeting with the Galewood Montclair organization, GMCO, on the 25th at the Mosaic Church. Not to be confused with Mosaic Month, but Mosaic Church on Oak Park Avenue and North Avenue. That'll be 6 o'clock or 6:30. Start time on the 25th of this month. And BWB Square for those in the Galewood area. Also, for those that don't know, we had quite a few people retired this month. We have Commander of the 25th District, Nelson Perez, retired. We have Lieutenant Allen over in the 11th District, retired. We have Dwayne Works, the Superintendent of 29th Ward, retiring. We had, what's her name, working with Danny Davis? Mary Reed retired this month. That's 4, right? And it's one other person. I can't think who's retired, but I guess, Father Larry from St. Agatha's. How can I forget this? This is his last month, and he's retired. So we got 5 people retired. That's Westside leaders, I want to say. They're leaders because they definitely, especially if you're supposed to be the commander, you're supposed to lead your district. So those people are retiring this month. June is the eclipse month, I guess.
June be the end of the fiscal year. They try and get up out of that before another one starts. For me, I'm just like Steve mentioned, I walk across the stage June 28th, June 29th. We're doing a community celebration. We're doing a whole community celebration though, I am the guest of honor though, but it's still a community-based celebration. So just asking everybody that, want to slide through.
Great food.
Oh yeah. We got so it's gonna be the worst. It's gonna be a whole ordeal. Food, music, entertainment. Yeah. And they got some stuff for the community too. So
y'all come out, show up. But they say show up and show out.
Yeah.
Even if it's only 4 hours.
6 to 10, right here in Northwest Austin Council. So come in when you want to. I will say we're gonna start eating at 7 o'clock though. That's what I guess. That's the time we're gonna start
eating till it's finished.
So but I want to set that aside for announcements and all of that, and give people a chance to like legit chill for a second. Because right at 8 o'clock is when the entertainment gonna start. So
yeah, they can eat and be entertained. They'll kind of like.
We got that too. We took care of everybody. We got vegan. We got everything. We got the man. Look, it's straight. We took care of everything.
Shout out for us.
Yeah, we took care of everything. So, that being said, y'all know how we do between the hours of 6 and 8 on Sunday. We bring you the Northwest Austin Council. West Side folks talking to West Side things. But sometimes we go a little otherworldly in terms of the world in general, because there's a lot of things that's going on that isn't just strictly Chicago. There's various ways you can interact with the show: the Facebook, the YouTube, the Zoom. You're in the Zoom, you write in the show, you come off mute. Try to keep it respectful, The dialogue is much appreciated. We all got different points of view, but we all got to be able to hear each other. If you're on the Facebook or the YouTube, if you type a comment in, we see it, we can pop it up on the screen, you can interact with us that way. Otherwise, just share the show. Let's continue to grow it out. We're going into 4 years in the end of August. So, been going on for a little minute now. So let's continue to make it larger than it currently is. That being stated, I always like to say in closing, we got plenty of open seats at the table. We're just trying to welcome y'all along home. Thank y'all for allowing us to welcome you to Northwest Austin Council. So, have a good night.
Night.
God bless everybody.
Good night.
Hey, Tiny.
Hey, Ma Arnold.
Yes, but when you talk to Westside Bill, let them know those potatoes is popping.
All right, I will.
Did you all get over on that strip of the garden that I was telling you about that was set aside for you all?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we did.
I say, please come back. I was over there yesterday, and I think the sun took a beating on what was planned.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Yeah. Later.